Oh, so
Punch him. Fucking called it.
blah 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 blah. So we watched actually yesterday. We watched My Hero episode 50. I think it's also episode 12 or 11.
Yeah, he said 12. Beginning of the end of the beginning.
And this deals with kind of the aftermath of what went down with All for One
The
versus
All for All fight.
which you think like those two powerhouses would like end the entire show essentially as far as like the hype levels, but there's definitely going to be more. And
Right?
and this episode definitely kind of gave you an idea of like the foreshadowing of what's to come next.
You know what this show feels like?
Yeah,
It feels like a 1.5
a 1.5 What do you mean?
of like a game or a show, where it's like All Might is finishing his career. That's the end of 1,
Oh, okay.
and Deku is beginning his career, which would be 2. Right now, we're at the middle of that. We're towards the retirement of All Might, and it's probably gonna end at like a little into the career aspect of Deku being a hero before he actually becomes the symbol of peace. It'll just be like he makes his debut, goes on a few missions, like I'm a hero, and then the show's over.
Actually, I don't know the whole process of like them becoming heroes because they
get their hero license.
They get their provisional license, which is actually kind of separate. It means that they're allowed to use the quirks to hurt other people, essentially.
Yeah, they get their provisional license.
So it's just like it's like a permit,
Yeah,
but it's not a full like permit to actually use your powers.
because they go through the hero test, and that's a whole arc right there.
Right. It's just to get their provisional license, and then I forget what happens next, but they do have to go through like more like sidekick stuff. So that's gonna happen like later on. But right now,
Come on, Boy Wonder, I got you. But yeah, that's where I feel like this is the thing, because like if this were a game, you would win. You'd beat Ganondorf at the end, and then you're like training a ward to be like, all right, evil's not done yet.
Evil's not done yet. I'm gonna have to fight all of it.
You're next.
You're next. But yeah, I like the thing of it because a lot of it's, especially this world's all centered around All Might, and for him to retire it definitely brings up this drastic change in how things are going.
It brings the quote unquote time of peace before shit hits the fan. It's like, well, I'm the new hero now. Dun dun dun. Enter part 2.
Part 2 is like Deku's upcoming.
Yeah.
Uprising. So
The beginning of the career of Deku.
even though like the first 2 seasons were about Deku, it still is about like All Might still during the general time and space of everything. Right now we're just rewatching the episode actually, and we're looking at a different like generation even that All Might was even involved in with Nana and like her grandson, someone
Nana
who
Shimura and fucking Gran Trino.
yeah,
They're the generation before All Might.
right. And a lot of that, well, I have a lot of questions about like how Nana like approached things, but apparently
With a fist.
well, yeah, sure, but like what happened like to her family? Why she decided to like close the grandson off things just as a way to just kind of have him be separated from the whole life that she lives?
Well, remember, they said right here that her daughter or something died, or her husband died because of like hero stuff.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I don't want my family part of this. Keep them safe.
Yeah, so don't approach them if something were to happen to me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, All for One like turned things around and made the worst situation happen. So now we transition over to pretty much our gang after everything has happened. They turned Bakugo back so that he can go back home under, I guess it could be house arrest just to make sure that he's okay.
Well, it's more witness protection, if anything.
Yeah, okay, that's
He's not in trouble. They just want to make sure that no one goes after him for now.
Meanwhile, we get another shot of like Todoroki and how his family is reflected all of this specifically his dad.
Specifically, how all of his family have some variation of white and red.
Yeah.
Damn. His oldest brother is all red. His youngest sister's all white. His older sister is white with speckles of red, and he's half and half.
Because you have to imagine...
Hair doesn't work that way.
Right. But it's definitely a good distinguishing something that you can like look at and think like, okay, this is what's happening.
Oh, they're part of that family.
Mm-hmm.
They have those soulless eyes like the Hyuga clan.
But it's strange enough, like, from what we heard, like, you know, him like pretty much like punching all the kids for not being like good enough. He's been trying to find like the right kid who could really become the number one hero. And there's a lot of resentment towards that, but he's still their dad, so it's just weird. The episode now focuses on Deku coming back home, only to leave after he passed out.
Dude, that was a long few days, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he spent fucking his whole just everything stressed.
And so now he meets up with All Might at the beach, and they have this, like, what seemed to be a romantic reunion when ultimately it was just going to be reprimand's for just going out on his own. It's still, like, up to debate whether anyone would think that what they did was the right thing, but I think the circumstances kind of, like, gave them the right to, like, assist when they needed to.
It didn't, but things wouldn't have gone well if they didn't. So they still did a wrong, even if good came out of it.
Yeah, you're right. But it doesn't seem like they'll be focusing too much on that for now. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing that happened, and a lot of the situation that they're in part of wasn't really covered at all. So it wasn't like in the news where like they could have had their names like out there. They could have kept their names under wraps.
That's because they were fucking stealthy about that shit. They were in and out.
But despite that, like All Might actually, despite just giving the initial like, you shouldn't have done that. Why do you keep doing this on your own? But this is actually the first time that Deku did something and not broken anything from him.
Yeah, normally everything is broken.
At the end of the day. You can't do this. You're not my dad. So why you gotta be like that?
But he actually completed a mission without injury.
Yeah. Good job, Deku. You're moving up. Would you also say that, like, by that extent, like, him fighting Muscular the way he did was a wrong? Even though he saved someone?
Yes.
Yeah, alright.
It was a wrong, even though it was for the right reason, because he did not have the permission at the time.
We're getting, like, one of the transitional cards in the episode, which actually shows Best Genius, who we don't really know the status of as far as, like, is he okay? Is he dead?
Although he escaped death, he will not be working for a long time. It's giving an update on, like, what happened to them. That's why I stopped it.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Ragdoll, after she was kidnapped, she became unable to use her quirk, so she is suspended from hero activities for the time being.
Oh, I actually like Ragdoll.
She was creepy.
She was creepy. But she was an okay kind of crazy.
Yeah. She's not fucking Toga crazy.
It looks like we're seeing, like, how the faculty is dealing with the whole events of All Might. Seeing what he can do. But essentially what's going to come down to is just that All Might's going to continue teaching. He just, won't be out in the field. Oh yeah, so speaking of like what's happening right now.
Deep dope.
We got Deep Dope and her family currently in discussions with All Might and Aizawa about the new dorming implementation that they're going to do for
the All Dorm.
The All Dorm. Which is pretty much just to protect the students, because these recent events have definitely given people an idea of like, okay, they're actually hunting down these students. We should bring them closer to the school.
If we have all the heroes in one place, we can kick all the villains in the face.
It does make them a bigger target, but at least it doesn't target anyone else.
It does make them a bigger target in the fact that we just have to hit this one area.
Right.
But at the same time, they're all in that one area.
With Deep Dope's family, it's a definite yes, because it's All Might. Oh my god. Oh, that's All Might.
They're a rocker family too, so it's like everything's pretty chill over there. Then you make your way over to the fucking Byakugan house and damn, everyone's yelling
except for Dad, because he's the actual sane person.
Dear old Dad.
I love this family because as violent, as vocal as like Bakugo's mother is. Her mind's in the right place, and she's
a very level-headed person
Very much.
Despite her short temper.
Mm-hmm. But she got a lot of respect from Aizawa from like saying what he did or what he said, despite that just being such a subjective thing to say in that interview.
Mm-hmm.
So she's all for it because she knows that her son's in the right hands.
Yeah, it's the fact that they care to learn each student on that personal level and know what they fight for and what their motive is and what they want out of the Hero Academy.
Instead of just being like, oh, he just has a really good quirk. He could be this hero.
Yeah, and they're, oh man, he's a really gifted student and his performance has shown that. It's like for them, it's they need to know them on a personal level. That way they can help them grow and adapt to fit the exact needs and purposes that they can fulfill.
I think that's a really good trait to have for any type of show too, because a lot of characters just get shelved because they're just not the main character.
Yeah.
And though the main character here is Midoriya, it's definitely gives a lot of highlights to these characters, even if they don't get the spotlight for most of the time.
Yeah, it gives a lot of light to the B cast.
Yeah.
Todoroki, Bakugo, Uraka, Ida.
For however much screen time they have.
Yeah. And then even the tertiary cast gets some. Momo, fucking Harden. I don't remember his name.
Kirishima.
Yeah, Kirishima.
Eating grape juice. At times. maybe not so much.
Grape juice feels more like a background than tertiary. Just him, Pinky, Invisible Girl, Tail,
Kaminari,
Tape.
Oh, that's cute. Sorry, we're watching now. We're at the point where we're at the Midoriya household. They're just kind of talking about what Deku should do with the whole dorm idea, and his mom is actually against it, despite wanting to support him like through and through. As she's reflecting on like how Deku has grown to admire All Might, seeing that little flashback, I don't even know if it showed up in the manga, but it's so cute.
I'm also having fun just like going back and forth between her face before the flashback and her face after the flashback, because it is the same position just with the tear, and it just has like this zoom.
That actually is a pretty good frame of things, because like her mom has always been stationed right there, but Deku's in two different spots. So in the past, this is where he is. In the future, or the current, he's like over there.
I get what you're saying.
So it's like it's a progressiveness, even though she's kind of stayed the same. Although I think someone pointed out like how she's developed like physically, it was because like how Deku grew up to be quirkless. She was depressed at the time. So,
stress eating.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it was ever brought up actually in the story, but I can see that.
It's a good fan theory. If it wasn't already like confirmed in that, like, oh, she went through some shit because her son's worthless.
Yeah. And she feels bad for it. Because
You're not gonna pay the bills, son!
He can't pull objects close to him. He can't breathe fire. But I guess he gets super strong. Wait, where'd that come from? Does anyone question that?
Push-ups, sit-ups, and a lot of juice.
10-kilometer run, too. Every day. No AC. So, I actually have a lot of, like, respect for her in this sense, because here is All Might. Like, even though deflated, it's still All Might.
She still has great reverence for this character.
Yeah. But she's still, like, the mother of, like, this boy who keeps hurting himself. And as a parent, that's, like, really scary. So, of course, she's going to be like, I really don't. And I'm glad that she admits that she doesn't really have the confidence to allow these heroes to take care of his son.
Yeah.
After everything that's happened. And no matter, like, what, it's just, I can't imagine it, is what she's thinking.
All the bad is happening, and that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even when the bad isn't happening, her son is getting absolutely destroyed. Coming home in bandages with medical bills piling up. He can't pay the bills, Justin!
I'm here, I am still stress eating. I still can't afford all this food I'm stressing over. This is when Deku actually comes back into the room after just charging out to bring over the letter that, damn it, I forgot the boy's name. I guess we'll see in the letter.
Toby?
No, it's, we have a similar character.
Kendo.
Almost Kendo, but that's the
Kiba.
other.
Koda.
Thank you.
I just had to throw enough bullshit names out before I finally got it.
Koda with the T. And how he's sorry that he got punched in the balls, but he got saved. Now we get to see All Might respond to, like, that situation with Deku, where he initially just thought of Deku as someone who just followed in his footsteps, like, every step of the way. Mm-hmm. But here he sees, like, Deku.
He's more than a shadow. He's someone his own person.
So, as a teacher, he has to respect that wish and really help him out, because that's what he wants to do now. Like, that's what All Might wants to devote for the rest of his life, is just to train his student.
His successor.
Yeah. And this is really definitely a really, like, powerful scene where it takes, like, bulked up All Might to bow down for as long as he can.
And that's one thing I absolutely love about the character of All Might, is that he knows that there's so much energy behind his muscular form, that there's so much meaning behind it, that yes, he's All Might with or without it, but the image of him in his muscular form is what the symbol of peace is. Mm-hmm. And so to show his reverence towards someone, even if they know him like that, he goes through it to show them the respect that they deserve. Mm-hmm. Like when, like someone pointed out, when he first gave Deku his power, he bulked up. They were all alone on the beach. No one was around, but he bulked up to give him to pass the torch.
Ah, I see. Oh my goodness!
If you rewatch the show, anytime that he speaks with reverence to someone, he'll bulk up, even if they know him outside of that form, because it's his way of showing respect to them. And I really enjoy him as a character because of that. Mm-hmm. It gives him way more depth than just
being like this symbol of peace.
He really earns that title of the symbol of peace in the fact that even outside of his hero duties, he'll still be the hero.
So now, like, with that Chakno Jutsu that was freshly prepared by All Might, was able to at least convince Deku's mom to not really dwell on, like, the previous, like, miscomings of
we've seen the error of our ways and we'll do our best to amend for it. Mm-hmm.
And that's all they want to do.
Yeah. They realize that their hubris got them nowhere. That just because
they're the number ones.
Yeah, just because they think they're the best doesn't mean someone won't be ballsy enough to attack. Mm-hmm. They got complacent in their position of power.
Mm-hmm. And that's how the episode ends. Mm-hmm. And the next episode is going to be dorm life.
We finally get a break from just
everything.
We have a second to fucking breathe.
I think someone on YouTube said it best, is like, when he was fighting Muscular, that was episode 4. Calm yourself.
7 episodes of just non-stop just anxiety.
Yeah. Because even though, like, between the camp and, like, the rescue arc, there was some, like, days passing, but it was all just, like, negative feeling. Mm-hmm. Pushed by the media and just, like, them feeling bad that Bakugo got kidnapped in the first place. Dude, this season has been just a roller coaster. They put all the stops because this was the most significant arc, as far as we know, for My Hero. Versus, like, I think season 1. Season 1 was definitely kind of a slow starter. Trying to, like, get ourselves immersed in, like, Deku's backstory. And then if you see the second episode, well, that was kind of a traditional, like, arc-to-arc type of shonen. Mm. Being a tournament arc. Which was well done, by the way, but... Or at least I'm saying that because I think I'm remembering some other, like, tournament arc, which was nowhere near as good. Like, the first thing was, like, 13 episodes of just, like, Deku coming into his own and just starting off the first semester.
Such a stupid fucking costume Todoroki started with.
Whoa, yeah, dude. Just a suit, but ice half. Like, bro, what are you doing? Man.
It's still better than Deku's original.
You're right, though. Like, I thought that was cool, like, in the beginning. if I look at the new suit, like in season 2, I was like, yo, this is so much better. And it only gets better.
And then, of course, we have our after credits scene preview, because that'd be awesome.
Oh God.
There's
There's extra stuff.
You're not far enough.
You're not.
Of All For One saying, you're going to lose, All Might.
You're gonna lose.
You're coddling.
Instead of letting the lead the nest like I have.
Yeah.
That's a cool like antithesis or like I guess parallelism between like these two like rivaling like factions really.
I think the best part about it is All For One is correct though.
He is right.
All Might did nothing but coddle Deku. Mm-hmm. He's learned nothing.
Yeah.
He's learned slowly on his own through trial and error. Mm-hmm. But All For One did nothing but train fucking...
Shigaraki?
Yeah, Shigaraki.
To like lead...
Yeah, to be the one in charge. He kept giving him infinite resources and infinite do-overs to, you know what? Give everything. Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, I'll back it. I want you to know what it's like to be in charge. You're going to lead. Ghostman, follow him. Through Shigaraki's own actions, he did amass a following. Mm-hmm. He amassed a following. He learned how to lead, how to plan, how to outmaneuver. And to quote him, he says, so he says, a teacher's job is to help his student become independent. The teacher he's come to rely on goes someplace he can't reach, and his hatred grows stronger, allowing him to walk the path of a true leader. He has comrades. He's learned how to increase their number. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much
reassurance. Take all the experience, hatred, and regret and use it to move forward. So he knows how to plan, and he knows how to build a following. The people that follow him, they follow him like indefinitely. They seem like really behind him, especially after this big loss.
Well, it's them versus like the idealisms of like One for All. So their backs are at the corner. But
well, before all of that, it was what's it called? They were together for different motives. Mm-hmm. They fought for Stain. Mm-hmm. Shigaraki just seemed like the catalyst to do that. But now that they fought with him, saw what All For One is about, and seeing what it's like to really, really lose when you have victory on your fingertips. I feel their motive shifted from trying to emulate Stain to trying to destroy All Might and everything he stands for. Because if you look, it does like a look over of everyone inside that room. Uh-huh. Nobody seems happy. Mm-hmm.
Because they just lost. Everyone just lost, and now they're upset.
Yeah, they look like they have a whole new motivation.
And the thing is, if it weren't for All For One, they'd all be captured. They know how strong All Might is. And what it took for them to be saved was the sacrifice of someone else who could have done it better. And I like the end little subtext, which was just like, next is your turn. Straight at Shigaraki.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it really is like, this could have been Deku, or at least this is what Deku could have been. Well, yeah.
This is Deku's fight now between him and Shigaraki.
Yeah, the torch has been passed down now, so it's these two who will inevitably come to cross each other again. Now, again, we will have our respite episode, and we'll just see from there.
Just remember, though, lurking in the shadows is Shigaraki growing stronger.
Yeah. So as Deku's getting accustomed to everything new here, Shigaraki's already planning in the background, saying things in motion, whether it's him actively participating or not. But yeah, we'll end here. It was a good episode. Just to really bring logic as far as what happened, the aftermath. Because it does feel rational. I like at the near beginning that they do talk about the reprimands of what the League of Villains has just done here. And even though like All Might saved the day, this is going to have like a massive effect on them in the future. So,
especially since All Might's retired. Mm-hmm.
But we'll see more of how things turn and pan out. Maybe in the next couple episodes. As far as I know, they're not ending the season yet.
No. I feel it's definitely be 24.
Yeah, about. So yeah, we'll end it here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to know more about our discussions on My Hero, please be sure to like the video and also subscribe. Also subscribe, bell button, notification, just to let you know when we upload videos by the minute. Support our Patreon, and also there's a merch store down below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. #bye everyone.